How's it going, everyone? Shifty here, and today I've got another Legend Lost Sector guide. In this one, I'm going to be doing an easy guide for the bunker E15 Legend Lost Sector on Europa. Many of you already know in my easy guides I try to use loadouts that are easily obtainable, and I don't use Charged with Light or Warmind Cell mods. I'm trying to make the Legend Lost sectors as accessible as possible to as many players as possible. In this video, I'm going to show you a full run on all three classes with slightly different loadouts. Before I get into it, if you end up enjoying the video, a like would be appreciated. And if you're new to my channel, consider subscribing as well. Alright, for my Warlock Run, I'm using Top Tree Voidwalker and Contraverse Hold. This exotic is not necessary, but it is nice to have. Then for my weapons, I have the Survivor's Epitaph for Overload champions. Honestly, you could use any kinetic hand cannon here if you don't like this one or you don't have it yet. Then I'm using the Gnawing Hunger Void Auto Rifle. This is for barrier champions and for void shielded enemies. It also gets a 50% damage boost in this Legend Lost sector. The heavy weapon I'm using on my Warlock Run is the Deathbringer. And here are the armor mods I used on my Warlock. If you need to see anything in more detail, just pause the video. Also, if you have any questions for me, leave them in the comment section down below. One quick note, I would highly advise using Void chest armor so you can slot a void damage resistance mod. In my Titan run, I'm using Middle Tree Sentinel, and I have Heart of Inmost Light. Again, this exotic is not necessary, but it is nice to have. For my Titan run, I'm using Survivor's Epitaph and Gnawing Hunger again, but I swapped my heavy weapon out for a Bad Omens. If you do end up using something like Bad Omens or another legendary heavy weapon, you can always swap Gnawing Hunger out for Hard Light. Then you can just use it on Void mode and get a similar effect to Gnawing Hunger. And here are the armor mods I used on my Titan. And lastly, for my Hunter run, I went with Bottom Tree Night Stalker, and I'm using Orpheus Rig. Orpheus Rig is going to make my super a little bit more effective, but again, these are optional. Again, I have the Survivor's Epitaph and Gnawing Hunger, but this time I went with Two-Tailed Fox. This is an excellent exotic rocket launcher. Anyway, here are the armor mods on my Hunter. And that's all there is to my loadouts in this video. There will be timestamps, so if you want to skip to a particular run, feel free to do so. There isn't much left to say, so now let's get into it. Alright, right at the beginning of this Legend Lost sector, there is going to be an Overload captain, but I'm going to take out some of the ads in the area first. Alright, it's right in front of me, so I'm going to go for it. Sundering Blast was able to take care of that drag. And Deathbringer was able to take out the captain with ease. There is one more Vandal up here. And now we can move on to the next room. There's going to be several goblins and a minotaur in this room. That will then unlock this door. I like to take out those boxes as soon as I can so I can get as much help from the frames as I can. And I'm just going to clear out as many of these regular goblins as I can. And there is often a hobgoblin up here, but it must have died already. I'm going to go for that Cyclops right away. There will be a Minotaur and a barrier champion also spawned in this area. This seems to be the last enemy. And now we can head off to the boss room. So right away we're going to have to clear out the boss room before the boss even spawns. There's going to be a wyvern in here. See if my Deathbringer can take it out. Wasn't quite able to get it. Managed to save it. The boss is going to be spawning, so what I'm going to do is super it right away and then use my Deathbringer on it. I'm going to use this as cover, but there will be enemies off to my right that I have to be careful for. So I'm going to try to clear those out. There is an Overload Minotaur here now. And Deathbringer was enough to take it out. If you have to, you can always go back into the entrance to the room to fight off that Overload Minotaur. See if I can sneak that in there. There's going to be more enemies spawning here off to my right. See if I can get a grenade down there. And there will be another Overload champion. The boss is almost down. That might be enough to take it out. And then we have to deal with this Overload champion if we want to get a platinum rating. Now that the Overload's down, we can head off to the chest. And there we have it. That is my easy guide to getting a platinum completion of the Bunker E15 Legend Lost Sector on a Warlock. Now I'm going to show you a full run on a Titan and a Hunter. Alright, this run's going to be very similar to the Warlock run. I'm just using a Bad Omens instead of the Deathbringer. But people like to see runs in all classes, so I'm here to deliver. Unlike my Warlock run, I went for the champion a lot earlier this time. That's because it was kind of harassing me already, so I wanted to take care of it. Alright, now we can head on to the next room. Again, we just have a few goblins and a void shielded minotaur in here. And then in this room, I'm going for the boxes to release the frames again. And we'll toss a grenade over there. Try to get these hobgoblins out of here so they stop sniping. And there is one more hobgoblin right above me. And I'm relatively safe to clear out goblins up here. There is going to be that Cyclops that spawns. Shoot a rocket right at that immediately. And I'll throw a grenade right in front of me to take care of all of those goblins. Or some of them, because most of them aren't actually standing in my grenade. I noticed that barrier champion was shielding, so I took the opportunity to go for it right there. And it looks like that void shielded minotaur is going to be the last enemy we have. Moving on to the boss room, we do have to clear this out. And don't forget there is going to be a wyvern up here in the back of the room. I'm going to rocket that right now. There's not enough to take it out, so I'm going to backtrack here, take out some of these goblins in the back, I'm surprised the wyvern didn't push, but the frames are kind of distracting it. Alright, I'm going to grab that heavy ammo, and this should be the last enemy. The frames took care of it, so now I'm going to sit back here and be ready to rocket the boss. That did not go how I wanted. Again, there's going to be some enemies off to my right here. I'm actually going to go ahead and super so I can clear the area out. And with banner shield, I can freely shield just like this. Right here I can peek through and see when the shield is going to be open. I'm going to be ready again. A champion has appeared, so we'll have an overload champion to deal with now. I'm going to place that there for a little bit of protection, and here comes that overload champion. With a grenade and a rocket, that was pretty easy to take out. And I only have one rocket left. Looks like this enemy dropped some rockets for me. Thank you. I'm going to toss a grenade right there and rocket the boss, which is right in front of me. And clear some of those ads out. Remember, this is an easy guide and I'm trying to take it slow so that people can see what they need to be doing. If I just rush the boss damage, you won't see the different waves of enemies. And there should be another overload champion when the boss gets weaker. As you can see, it's making its way towards me right now. I'm going to be ready to stun it again. Once that second overload champion is down, you can head to the chest. My Titan run took a little bit longer at the boss fight because I wasn't able to use my super on the boss like I was able to use my Nova Bomb on the boss in my Warlock run. Anyway, now I'm going to show you a full run on a hunter. And here we are back in Bunker E15 on a hunter. Let's go for this overload now. And all we should have left is a vandal up here. Didn't quite get this goblin in my grenade. These goblins are already active in here. The frames must have taken care of that third goblin for me. Let's release some of the frames to help me out. Alright, we should have more frames in action. I'm gonna back away a little bit because I'm getting sniped at by this hobgoblin. Take care of this hobgoblin as well. There should be one more right here. Alright, all the hobgoblins are down. I'm going to throw a grenade on that pack of goblins over there. And I'm going to get ready to rocket the Cyclops. Take out some more of these goblins, and then we should have a barrier champion to deal with. Wherever it may be hiding. There it is. Now that this room is cleared out, we're free to move on to the boss room. We'll once again clear this room out. Go go for this wyvern up there. Two-tailed fox is definitely enough to take out that wyvern. Should be a hobgoblin and a goblin left. Hobgoblin there and a goblin in the back. And there should be one more goblin apparently. And now the boss is spawned. So what I'm going to do is throw a grenade over there. And I'm going to super it. Hopefully I don't die here. That'll severely weaken the boss, which is great for me. I decided to rocket those goblins because there was a large group of them. And now I'm going to wait for the overload champion to show up. It's making its way over here. And I'm going to rocket the boss. This time I was able to avoid that second overload champion. The reason being was I did enough damage to the boss in a fast amount of time, so only the first champion had enough time to spawn before I had the boss killed. Anyway, that is it for my easy guide to the Bunker E15 Legend Lost Sector in Season of the Splicer. I hope that you enjoyed the video, and if you did, remember to like and subscribe. I just want to thank you for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.